10 ways to run your pharmacy out of business. Okay. And so really that's going to be, hey, don't do these. So really it's 10 things you should do. All right. So between now and then, our guests in the podcast can kind of ask them, hey, what do you think your top 2 of those 10 things would be? Now I heard, and maybe you'll stick with it, maybe you'll change it.
Don't communicate.
One of those is communicate. Yeah. So one of the ways is not to communicate with your staff, a vision or I love it.
And if you're not communicating, it's not essentially a team.
Now, is that, I heard you did a retreat. So let's talk about communicating. Is that whiteboard? Is that, hey, we all huddle around and do go in the morning? You know, how are we communicating? Surely we're not emailing out in a pharmacy.
So here are 2 things that have worked super well for Osterhaus Pharmacy over the years. One is we established a daily huddle, and we've been doing that for a long time. So really it's in the morning. What we noticed was we had some people that weren't maybe necessarily timely and so forth. And so it was just a way to instill that timeliness, be ready to go for the day in more of a subtle way. So that's kind of how it began years ago, but it really stuck because it's so important to set the tone for the day. So we usually have a motivational quote or something fun and just say like, hey, here's what's going on today, you know, or like we're short staffed. We've got just, you know, Tammy and Jesse here today. We need everyone to kind of pick up extra here, there, whatever. We also kind of incorporated like a funny Friday. So like technicians will like tell a joke or, you know, do something fun and so forth. And then we end it with our mission statement. So these huddles are like definitely less than 5 minutes. They might even be.
What's the mission statement?
A minute. Oh gosh, put pressure. Osterhaus Pharmacy is a pharmacy patients choose for innovative care, excellent service, and exceptional health-related outcomes. And then we end it with an amen because that's what Bob
is it to a tune?
says.
It sounds like an alma mater.
Yeah,
probably inspired by her alma mater.
Yeah, it should be, but you know. But yeah, so it just creates team, and we do that twice because we have a crew that comes in at 8, and then we have another crew that comes in at 9. So we do that in the mornings, and it's funny because on days that, you know, sometimes things get just, you know, community pharmacy kind of crazy out of the get go, and
so the
our technicians
retreat.
Did we have a huddle? Have we had a huddle yet?
Have we huddled yet? I love it.
Yep.
So the retreat, is this like is this like neighboring pharmacies that you're friends with or that you went to school with, or is this part of the state association?
Nope, it's Osterhaus Pharmacy. So we actually do 2 retreats a year. One is our technician retreat.
Okay.
And so we used to be open all day Saturday, but the last year we have made some changes with our hours.
Okay.
But in the past, we would close the pharmacy down. After lunch on a Saturday, we would get our team together on Bobo's porch, and we would try to do some team building events, and we would use it sometimes for more concentrated training, sometimes for just other development. Like one time we did like a Myers-Briggs or DISC assessment on our entire team and just talked about like
those are fun.
You know, just like the differences of everybody. Actually, this last year we had done a Colby, and I had the opportunity to work with Kari Smith over the last year because we did a lot of my pharmacies did Colby assessments on each of their staff and their team and stuff, and then we did it as well at Osterhaus. So I had been through enough presentations with all my sites that I felt pretty comfortable talking with our team about it. So I just talked about just the strengths that we had as a team and how we could best work together and communicate together. So that was our technician. Then we ended it with doing a escape room, which was always fun.
Those
Did you get
so
out?
Fun.
Yeah, we did. We made it.
Nice.
So good team. And then so that usually happens kind of March, April, depending on what we've got going on each year. So that's something that it's a great opportunity to just show our appreciation to our technicians. And we're very much a family at Osterhaus Pharmacy, and it just really just helps strengthen those relationships and things.
I love it. So you start with a huddle and you do a retreat 2 times a year. You're completely bringing team in together and making it's awesome. I love it.
And I was listening to your podcast with Jackson and talking about AI.
Jackson Justus.
Yes. And we were just having a conversation about that a couple weeks ago. He was like, so has pharmacy started using AI? And I was like, I wonder how we would use that. And then my husband has kind of messed around with it a little bit with, what is whatever the program is.
ChatGPT.
So, yeah.
Yep.
And even he put stuff in for his business, just saying like, put together a marketing campaign or it's amazing.
Yep.
It's amazing what that can do. So
you're talking of, it's interesting you bring up Jackson Justus, because like you're talking about team building and bringing it together and communication and starting with a huddle, and it instantly reminded me, I'm like, he is very much like, do y'all know each other? Because that was kind of the thing that he also talked about, was starting his team off with, today we're gonna start, it's gonna be a great day, and just starting off every day with, today's gonna be great.
We keep threatening to have a podcast retreat where we take all the guests that have been on our podcast and go somewhere. I can't even, I get chills even thinking about it. I can't imagine
so much
the
fun
conversations that would happen. We probably have to have some structure to it, but.
Oh, absolutely. Because there's been, 2, almost 3 years worth of podcasts.
Yeah. It's just crazy. I think, the world, we've had a couple of companies come together and the world is such, there's certain quality of people you're just not going to hire in the office here. I have jealousy when you say you huddle together in the morning, because I'd love to do that, but you have people in Spartanburg and you have people in Pittsburgh and you have stuff like that. But when the leadership team gets together for a couple of days, you're like, oh my goodness, what we could do if we were all in the office together all the time. It's just,
well, we're about to get some of them together in September.
It's that kind of energy. And I just imagine what it'd be like to bring that kind of group. So what would be as you've 18 years in this pharmacy, what would you say is one thing that's really, really important to keep your pharmacy in business that's not communicate with your staff?
Yep.
Get to know your customers and get to know their stories.
Nice. Okay. So if you want to run your pharmacy out of business, don't get to know your customers.
Okay. So in that sense, you have Pioneer. So are you utilizing the comments section on your patients?
Oh yeah. We overutilize it to the point of comment fatigue.
So I'm filling a prescription and I just keep scrolling.
Right. It's like, we have all sorts of things. This person, their first name is this, but they actually go by this.
Right.
Or this person is always a delivery, no matter what. If we get a medication called in, whatever, if it's their
actually, that's an interesting field to add in.
They're always delivery.
What's their legal name? What do they prefer to be called?
There is a feature on Pioneer, that has that preferred on there now.
Yeah,
so you can actually put their preferred name.
It's like, I don't remember that being there.
We've just discovered that and started using it.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, mine would be like Jeff Key, God of Thunder. Right now.
It'd be Jeff Papa. I don't know. There's some days I call you Jeff Fafa, like from Jeff Dunham.
You're using an unnecessary F.
You're using an unnecessary F. Jeff Fafa. Or I call him Joffrey, depending.
All right, so I like this. So don't get to know your customers. All right, so give me some ideas. So in getting to know your customers, how do I do that? How do I make sure I get to know my customers and their stories?
You talk to them. You you put that face with the name and sort of getting to know something about them, or knowing who their family members are, what they do for a living.
Yeah.
And then you start to make those associations, and kind of know. And so you can, when they walk in, be like, so how's your brother doing? Or how's, or something about their medical history, how are you doing with your diabetes, management? And so, just getting to know them, getting to know what their struggles are. And
that's that little bit of effort in what you said the best marketing is, which is word of mouth. And you're creating that stickiness with that patient, that they go around and they tell their friends, this pharmacy actually cares about me. They know my story. They remember my dog. They remember my brother recently went through something and I was going to visit him or help something. So it's creating that stickiness and creating that word of mouth, that relationship that gets you that word of mouth, that best marketing.
I'll tell everybody something super fun to do that can talk about that kind of relationship with people, right?
Is it a
whenever
theme song
whenever you sit down in a restaurant, the waiter comes over and what do they do? What's the first thing they do?
They introduce themselves.
They go, "Hello, my name's Jeff and I'll be waiting on you today." Right? And you go, "Oh, okay, that's nice." Right?
Oh yeah, you've started doing that. You introduce yourself.
When the waiter says, "Hey, my name's Jeff and I'll be waiting on you today," or sorry, we'll use a different one. We had Reagan. So, "Hey, hello, my name's Reagan and I'll be waiting on you today." "Hello, Reagan. This is I was with my daughter. This is Kaylee and my name is Jeff." By introducing yourself as well, which you do with anybody else in the world,
their demeanor changes.
The whole deal changes. You just change the relationship. You see almost instantly this paradigm shift in how they react to you. They smile.
Well, not just
they're more likely to tell you a story about themselves, or they'll talk to you more. It's a totally different experience, and you can see it the instant that you do that.
Because you cared about actually having a little more of a connection rather than just, this is what I want to eat and drink and thank you, go away.
Yeah.
And I've noticed the same thing also.
Everybody should try that.
Yeah, in any type of service industry where they wear a name badge, if you take the actual second to not just say thank you and walk away, but go like, "Hey, thank you, Julie," and you actually see their face change and light up that you cared enough to read their name and call them out. And
it helps you remember it when you need them. Because by introducing yourself, you help remember their name, so that when they're across the restaurant, you need something, you're like, "Hey, you." So it's cool. Yeah. This is something everybody should try. It's my story for today.
Yeah. And we had a guy who came in, and there was a several month window of time when a unnamed chain pharmacy was going through some really and they probably still are, staffing struggles, and I mean anyway, we had a patient come in, and he's like, he walked in the store and he said, "Do you answer the phone when people call?" And we said, "Yeah, we answer the phone." And he said, I'm that's all I need to know.
That's what I needed.
I'm transferring my prescriptions here."
Yeah.
And so, and I know a lot of stores, even in, plenty of independent stores have the IVR systems and whatnot. We've always chosen not to do that, even through COVID, which bless it was, we had all 5 lines ringing all day, every day for months.
I was going to call it 10 ways to run your pharmacy out of business, but we learned about a guy.
10 ways to run your pharmacy out of business?
Yeah, 10 ways. It's just, how you see this lot kind of, it's just it's a reversal.
It's a reversal. He's basically trying to build up.
You're telling them things to do by telling them things not to do.
You need to do. So if you're not doing these things, you're going to run your business out of pharmacy.
But we heard a story the other day of a guy who had a pharmacy who wasn't doing anything, who didn't run it out of business. He just didn't grow it. So
I think
maybe it's going to be 10 ways to keep your pharmacy from growing. How's that?
There you go.
That might be better.
I like.
And so we're asking all our guests for an idea.
That's a more positive spin than
the
way
2 ideas so far are involving the team. Those communicate.
Yep.
If you don't communicate with the team, if you want your pharmacy not to grow, don't know your patients if you want your pharmacy to grow, right? So what, easier phrasing, what would you say one of the top 10 things is to grow your pharmacy?
Number one thing is getting involved in the community.
Getting involved in the community.
So the number one thing that you could do not to grow your pharmacy is to stay inside the walls of your pharmacy.
Yeah, don't get out in the community.
You need to have a staff. So if you're a one-man show, you need to have somebody that's a relief pharmacist that can come and give you one day to get outside your walls. So you need to. I learned so much so I'm on our hospital board. I'm on the local nursing home board, and then I'm on the CPSN board. So I'm busy, I'm on McKesson's NIAB board. So I'm always out there talking to other people, and that's where I get all my ideas.
Yep.
Or like tomorrow morning, I'm going to go, there's a senior health fair here in Abilene. And so I'm going to go have a booth there because I want to talk to the people that I want to have as my customers and hear, what are they thinking about? What do they think pharmacies do? What do they think's missing in our community? And just kind of get to know them. And so if you don't want to grow, stay inside. No, I can't. But you can't sell anything there, and you can't do anything like vendorish. It's just supposed to be information. But I can tell them they can come to my pharmacy.
Right. Yeah.
And so,
or get their
give an appointment, I guess.
And they could buy a puzzle while they're here too, or a lotion, or but yeah, that would be my number one thing is you have to be out in your community.
Yeah,
and I think that's what's wrong is pharmacists get so wrapped up in I've got this double DIR coming up. I'm not getting reimbursed enough. I'm watching all these negative remits, and there's no way I have time to go out and talk to people. But really, that's how people know to come to you. And and that's how you know what your community needs, because not every community needs the same things.
I love it. So basically, build a team, get out behind the four walls of your pharmacy, and get involved.
Yeah. And lots of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we've mentioned that a couple of times in the podcast.
Yeah,
but
it kind of nicely flows into
it. Yeah, that probably is it'll be interesting as we grab the whole 10 to try to figure out what the number one is. And that's got to be really close to it.
Yep.
There's
one other thing I was told you.
Okay.
I heard,
so I was listening to John Maxwell's another podcast that I listened to, and he had a quote. It was that your attitude is a choice.
Yep.
And then I'm going to mess this up, but so I'm going to read it. And you are not what you think you are, but what you think you are. So like, you might, for example, customer service. Do you know any pharmacy or any business that ever says they give bad customer service? They don't say that. Everybody says we give great customer service, right?
Yep. But the Google reviews say different.
And if they're thinking like negative things about their customers, then they start doing bad business. And so you're not what you think you are, but what you think you are. So if you're in pharmacy and you're spending all your time thinking about all the negative things and having a bad attitude and thinking I don't have time, well, you won't.
That's interesting because
you never will.
In that, don't point a finger because there's 10 more pointing back at you. Or, if you're gonna cry, the baby's gonna cry with you. If you're not calm and happy, the baby's not gonna be calm and happy. So it's kind of interesting when you think of just all that full circle.
Well, and that's and once you decide that attitude's important, the acting yourself in a better way of thinking, not being negative. There's a cartoon that I always hated to see that was like making fun of the patient pharmacist reaction about kind of silly things patients say. I don't know what it was, but every time
I thought you were going to say Wonder Twins.
No, every time I watched it, it made me angry because I was like, pharmacists shouldn't be thinking that way about their customers.
No, you should care. Yeah.
And you will. Whatever you're thinking is what you'll end up becoming. I had a friend one time that called me up and she said, I'm making a list and I'm marking people off my friend list. And I was okay, is this my notice or what's the deal here? And she said, no, I've just decided that there's people that have bad attitudes and they're bringing me down and it's not healthy for me to be around them anymore. Yeah. And I said, okay. And she's like, you're still on the list. And so I'm like, phew. Yeah. But I've really carried that with me because she's right. You're hanging around, it's like my kids, like my freshmen in high school. You tell that to your kids all the time. Make sure you're hanging around people that are good people because you're going to become what they are. And so that's the other thing for pharmacists. You need to hang around people that are healthy and looking forward to the future because there's so much that we can do in our
And you're going to find those people at NCPA and at Connect.
What are you doing to engage with your employees and keep that positive energy going?
Yeah, we have one employee at the moment, staff pharmacist. We're currently hiring our first technician, so I'll report back on engaging with a technician. But
so it's interesting. So at this point, you just have two pharmacists.
Yeah, myself, co-owner. He works at Pitt during the week, so he works on Saturdays. And then we just have one pharmacist on staff. And then we take students from the schools of pharmacy. So in terms of engaging them, it's very much educating. Yesterday we had our talk about how the cost plus model works, and just showing them prices. They all work in community settings usually, but they don't ever get to see prices. So they kind of walked away yesterday depressed and like, holy cow, this is completely messed up. But today they love it. They love learning about how broken the system is, but also how there is a solution for the system.
Interesting.
And then in terms of engaging Tommy, our pharmacist, he's kind of our new lead on employer focus. So creating an actual compensation mechanism for him to get out there and kind kind of get a commission on every time he gets an employer on board. Financial engagement there. And then in terms of engagement, just to be excited about the mission is like, he can see in real time that we're fundamentally changing how the model of pharmacy works. From, being out there a whole year before Cuban launched to being out there and seeing 6 other pharmacies across the country convert to a cost-plus model to really seeing that changing throughout the profession. It's just a way to engage somebody on a greater mission. And I really think that mission is the ultimate importance in engagement.
Yeah. I was looking to see where I went a blank. So the 5th one is experimenting with new ideas, and he's totally into new ideas. So this is all about it.
So he's already covered.
Yeah, he's the experimenting. He's got the experimenting on overload. So
we experiment all the time too. That's one of my favorite things. Is since Ravi, he and I, a group of us started the innovations lab back at Pitt back when we were in pharmacy school, and he now leads the innovations lab at Pitt. So we get to engage with students and new ideas all the time.
That's awesome.
But some of the things that we do, we're partnered with a local startup that does cardboard boxes instead of plastic vials for prescriptions. So we actually just got our
do you have an example to show?
Yeah, right here.
That is so cool.
But the cool thing is whenever you open it up, it reveals little circles and blueberries. But it's custom branded, so it's got
not child resistant.
Yeah, it's not very child resistant.
Is it not child resistant?
It's more economical friendly.
Yet, but it's actually better for older patients with problems because it is designed to be child resistant. So I don't know if you can see, but you can't just open it.
Okay.
Oh, so it's child resistant. You have to push up on the bottom, and then you have to push down right here, and then pull. Sorry, I'm not. And so it actually is designed to be child resistant, but there's testing certification that has to go into it.
Right.
So that's really cool.
You mean you can't just give it to your 5-year-old and see if they can get into it and then call it child resistant and not work?
That's actually the testing process. Kids and see how long it takes them to get into it.
Take it to elementary school and just pass a bunch out and see how long it takes to get in.
I mean, have you seen Christmas Time? They have no problem getting into those.
Yeah, that's the deal with the paper. How's the price point on the? Is that similar to Val? More? Are we selling the environmental?
It is more. So those are 60 cents a piece.
Okay.
So it is more.
And a vial's what, 10?
Vial plus lid is probably low end would be like 12 cents. High end would be 60 cents probably for the big vial on the lid. Probably more like 40 cents. So definitely more, but.
Could you, but you're in the beginning of that. Would a mass production bring that cost down?
That's their hope. Paper is the only thing that would compete price-wise with plastic in terms of packaging.
Yeah.
And so that's their hope is once they hit scale that can bring that down. But there's also the marketing component. So we've had patients come directly to us just because they want to support things that are going green. So we have a way for them to just sign up and get their medications in the greener packaging.
I have so many questions.
So that's
about
a choice.
Just the custom,
the choice,
ability to customize it to hey, make this look like my pharmacy, my brand, and can we do hey, these are your morning pills, these are your nighttime pills.
Are they just a local company? Is that you went with a packager, or is that their business?
I need contact information.
I'd love for them to be it. They should be advertising in CPA. They ought to be at Connect.
I need contact information. I want to talk to them.
I will get you contact information. I'm an advisor to them.
I think that having that choice, I love that. Hey, for $1 you can get environmentally, packaging and.
If you, they're called Parcel Health, and they are located. Okay. Their headquarters is here in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Both the owners actually live here now, but I don't know that this will show up too well, but they probably won't show up at all.
No.
But if you go on their website, they have. One of my favorite boxes of all time is they have a University of Michigan box, and it's a box that's got the big yellow M going across 2 sides.
Yeah.
From a branding perspective, it's a fantastic.
No, look at the information and short on the screen during the podcast.
Yeah.
Right, I'll put that as a to-do. Well, that's great.
And then so some of the other things we experiment with is we're always experimenting with workflow. So basically, every student we have them evaluate. What are we doing wrong? What could we be what could we be doing better? Asking patients that regularly. So, our workflow changes just about every month in terms of ways that we optimize it, whether it's using Pioneer differently. So things like print queues differently, creating different priority statuses, using technology like we have a pill counter that actually just happens on the cell phone. So instead of getting like a really expensive counting device, just have an iPad that counts it right on a tray. The tray was actually 3D printed. So really low cost, a way of just speeding things up, making things more accurate.
Interesting.
And we're working with a robotics company to actually do like a inventory management system where the pill bottles are actually come right to you. And so you don't have to deal with, walking across the aisles and all that stuff. So, so just always experimenting with different technologies, different things. Even from, we were talking about ChatGPT earlier, delivering patient education in a different way. We've experimented with creating poems to
what a great idea.
To counsel patients. So, one of my favorite ones was actually to a family member. I wrote a poem for him about one of the antibiotics that they were going to be taking, to highlight the important counseling points.
You got it. Did you post that on LinkedIn?
I don't think I posted that one.
You got to post that on LinkedIn. I got to share it. That's
Instead of
what innovation.
finding their chocolate, you're speaking their language.
No, what do you just put in a poem? Hey, I write a little poem about taking your medication.
The cost to create is zero.
Creativity is free.
Yeah, you win innovator of the day. That's great.
Be innovative.
Because I was thinking you were just going to say, hey, just rewrite it, just reformat it. No, he made a poem.
No, he spoke their language.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah. I love finding out who's discovered AI and playing with it, because the interesting is that Jeff and I went to a PMA conference, Product Marketing Alliance. Okay, they're getting rid of the acronym.
Nice job.
Now if I could just teach you to do the same thing.
What?
And so it was real surprising.
You learn from his humbleness.
Ditto.
My staff's going to be so mad when they hear this and you say humble, because that is not how I actually work.
Oh, no. Okay.
So
I gloat all the time.
This is his normal Joe persona.
They're not going to be mad.
A superhero has, what do they call that? With superhero, what is his alter ego? Yeah, this is he's given us his Clark. This is his Clark Kent.
This is the
Clark Kent. Yeah, he's very humble. He needed to have the glasses on. Right. In the pharmacy, he's like, and yep. All right. So, yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that was super interesting is that at the Product Marketing Alliance conference is that they threw out a survey question and showed it on the board. It was real remarkable that only 40% of marketers had even touched AI.
Yeah, and congrats to you for being all over it.
In front of it. And so I'm just interested as, people play with it. Like Jeff gets bored and I'll get, he sent me a Happy Mother's Day that he did. That was an AI created image.
I thought it was lovely, actually.
It was it wasn't lovely.
Sweet. It was whimsical.
It was very whimsical.
Yeah, I just asked ChatGPT. I said, give me 10. Go ahead.
What kind of things have you played around with in AI?
Exactly what you two are talking about. So a big struggle for us, we've got a lady that does the RX Local post and schedules those out, but our social media, marketing game is non-existent. I despise social media.
Okay.
It's pulling teeth to put my own stuff on there.
And it's where everything's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was being an obstacle for us. And then I don't remember how I got started on it. It's been just a few weeks. I think Microsoft Edge came out and then put the AI inside of their browser.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there all the time. And then I started using it for research or whatever. And I was Googling uses for AI, and I found out that you could create art with it. I was like, can I apply this to my non-existent social media marketing? Because the obstacle is we can't create the content.
Right.
So if a robot will create it for me, so be it. I was going to run with it for a while and see if anybody asked me how I was doing it. Because I wasn't telling my partners that I was using AIs for my social media right now.
Nice.
Gonna see how it just went.
And what did they say? They're like, oh.
Other at the moment, so if you want to go to our page and look, we started putting up these random jokes on a chalkboard once a week.
Okay.
And the first one that went up, I had chatbot caption that.
Okay.
I mean, chatbot cracks me up with the cheesy dad jokes that it gives out.
Nice. I have a fan.
Oh, no.
It was a dad joke.
Oh, no.
So that, and then I started trying to use the Dolly version of it to generate art, because I was wondering if I could create like infographics from descriptions.
Interesting.
Instead of having to like go in and create that in software manually, I was wondering if I could just describe what I needed to a robot, create me an infographic and paste that.
Well, and you can have ChatGPT do that. And you also got bard.google.com now. Bard's free. But ChatGPT, what I did for Mother's Day is I said, hey, give me 10 ideas for images that represent Mother's Day. Yep. And it gave me 10 ideas. And then I figured out which one I liked, which was a whimsical scene of a mother and child flying a kite. And so I just plugged that into, the best one I found is for stuff like that, is Bing's Image Creator, which is also free right now. And just plug that in. Whimsical view, it gives me four options. You get so many free credits, and then they rebuild themselves. But it was really good. So you can use AI to give you the ideas of what the images look like, and then with the images. But things you should also be doing is thinking about what your keywords are. So hey, write this post. Make sure you include these keywords. Make sure you include concepts about why people buy. You know, one of the things that you really want to do with your social media posts is you want to try to. And one thing you can do is really, really entertain, but you want to provide them value. You know, one of the things that we had was, you know, Happy Good Earth Day. You know, you see all these posts where everybody, now there's going to be, 40 million people on It's Pizza Day, and figuring out how you can transform that into something that educates people, right? So if it's Pizza Day, tell them some really cool history about pizza in Iowa or pizza in your town. The first person to open a pizza place in our town was so-and-so. Or, hey, chime in with who's your favorite pizza in town. Do something because you want people to share your post or forward your post to other people, and they're not going to share them unless it provided them some piece of value. Right. If they got value from it.
Right. Like taking your pizza idea and supporting a local pizza business and going, for Pizza Day, we are working with this local business. We're bringing in pizza for the office, kudos. This is our favorite. What's your favorite slice? And then they would feel the need to share it on their social media that for Pizza Day, that this pharmacy brought in their business. And,
We probably ought to reflect on our little monthly. We do a little monthly thing that says each day the kind of stuff we should do. And we probably ought to look at that to try to figure out some ideas for adding value, right? Not just saying, hey, it's pizza, but really thinking about, hey, are we doing things that add value? Because you're right. Now with AI, you guys should be able to have the time to do stuff. Now, you still need to give it the bones. You still need to be creative. ChatGPT is just kind of fleshing it out.
Thank you for watching the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you get your podcast.
Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts to help us reach more pharmacy professionals like you.